All right, guys, let's get the old Pitchfork podcast started up. All right, guys. All right. This is the Pitchfork podcast, guys. If you guys like the content, guys, hit the like button, hit the share button, leave a comment, guys. Consider follow me on social media. Consider all my merch store and the links in the description. Now, with that being said, guys, we're gonna get straight into the show. Now, with that being said, I left my phone number out there, 253-203-6784. 253-203-6784. If you are watching, you are a cop lover, you are MAGA, call in. Stop being a coward. Stop running from me. I'm not going to run from you. With that being said, guys, we're going to be reviewing some things, some news that I found out about. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our first story. Going to involve something that's been really working my last nerves, and I want people to kind of look at it real quick. This is not the story we're going to cover. We're going to go on over to YouTube real quick. All right. So let's go ahead and turn on the desktop audio. All right, so we're going to type in Ahmaud Arbery. See, I want the people to see this. You know, this footage should be very interesting, right? Let's take a look at this.
Tonight, new hope as the U.S. gives a second
That's not the video that I wanted. Video I wanted is right.
Police body cam video showing the moments just after the deadly shooting of Ahmaud Arbery. Two men, a father and son, chasing him through that Georgia neighborhood. And what they told police at the scene. Yeah. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, now.
Right.
All right, guys, everybody's got their weapons up, correct?
Tonight, newly released body camera footage revealing.
I want you to watch to see how many dead bodies. Mind you,
one of the suspects.
Mind you, Tim Pool and all the rest of the fucking closet racists like Tim Pool and Sticks Hexahammer and all the rest of those assholes, they sat here and said that they were suggested that he did something wrong. Right. So now we not only did we find out 16 that it was definitely racially motivated, because one of the guys involved posted stuff about black people all the time. In fact, they had a job saying that he was out in the boat and he was glad he was out in the boat because there was no niggas around. Now, I'm not going to say N-word. He said niggas. That's what he said. And he killed a black man, happened to be a white guy that killed a black man in fucking Georgia for no reason. Interesting. So, Tim Pool didn't bring that part up now. But let's also just keep going.
Charged in Arbery's murder, Greg McMichael speaking to authorities moments after his son Travis fatally shot the unarmed 25-year-old. Arbery's body still in the street.
And they start wrestling, and Travis shoots him right in the damn chest. The guy was trying to take the shotgun away from him.
William Roddy Bryan, who captured cell phone video of Greg and Travis McMichael chasing Arbery, appearing to tell police about his alleged involvement in the incident.
You're a passerby coming through?
Nah, not necessarily.
Why? Whoa, wait a minute. That's not what he said in the original investigation. That's not what he said in the original investigation. See, in the original investigation, he said that he had nothing to fucking do with it. He said that he had nothing to fucking do with it. He said that he had nothing to fucking do with it. What's going on, DM Cosmic Chaos? How you doing, man? Hey, welcome to the stream. This stream is dedicated to bootlickers. He said during the investigation, that's not what he said. He said that he had nothing to do with it, and that his lawyer said the exact same thing, that he had nothing to fucking do with it. That it was Travis McMichael and George McMichael who were the main aggressors here. That's what he said, right?
Attorneys for Bryan have insisted he was simply a witness with no direct involvement in the tragic death. But in body camera video, Bryan allegedly telling police he tried to block Arbery with his vehicle.
I mean, if the guy would have stopped, find out what was going on, he obviously was up to something. I mean, this would have never happened. Should we have been chasing him? I don't know.
Wait a minute. You chased somebody down and you said, should we have been chasing them? I don't know. I'm gonna replay that part. How the fuck did you chase someone and you don't know if you should have been chasing them or not? Isn't that normally called stalking? That's crazy. Okay.
Should we have been chasing him? I don't know.
David, the McMichaels.
Wait. Should we have been chasing them? I don't know. And a man ends up dead. And there's assholes like Tim Pool, racist ass. I'm gonna call you racist, fucking Tim Pool. You're racist. Saying that what happened to this man, and oh my God, Jesus, look at this. They killed this man for no fucking reason. The man, coming to find out, everybody in this case is fucking racist. Coming to find out, this guy, William Roddy Bryant, or whatever his fucking name is, he's a little bit slow. He's a little slow. That is obvious. But then this guy comes out and says, should we have been chasing them? I don't know. You chase someone, you block them in, you prevent them from escaping, and then one of you kills them, and then I find out that one of you hates black people. The other two really does not like black people. And this happened in Georgia. And mind you, had we not gotten this footage, had we not gotten the previous footage, all right, mind you, because this guy, William Roddy Bryant, and his freaking lawyer released this footage thinking that it was going to clear them, that it was going to make them look good. And it did the exact opposite. It made them look how they were supposed to look, like murderers. And there are people out there like Tim Pool who claim that Ahmaud Arbery, just deserved it. Tim Pool, if you're watching, if you ever watch this, I want you to know you're a fucking racist. And I wish nothing but the goddamn worst for you. You're a piece of shit. Everybody who fucking justify that bullshit. Brennan Tatum, Coon, Uncle Tom, King Face, you dive in them HIV, good for you, bitch. Hope you fucking rot in the goddamn ground. Hope the fucking maggots are just eating your ass up. Because you said that Ahmaud, you said, and as I quote, Ahmaud Arbery was a stupid nigga. You said that, right? Right? Hold on. King Face, the same man who's giving women HIV, he said that Ahmaud Arbery was a stupid nigga. Hold on, let me see. King Face, Ahmaud Arbery, stupid nigga. King Face said something interesting. Try to find where they said this, because I want to see. I'm gonna find King Face saying this, because mind you, this is the man giving women HIV. He was a man exposed on giving HIV, and he's just given the craziest.
Like I said, man, I just want to tell my peoples, man, stop resisting arrest, man. Let them do their job. Stop resisting arrest. Stop, committing crimes. Stop doing things to put yourself in positions for things like this to happen, man. But that shit was fucked up, man. Them cops should go to jail, man.
I don't give a fuck about that nigga that got killed by them white boys. I don't give a fuck. You want me to care for a stupid nigga?
Interesting. So he calls him a stupid nigga, right? Now, mind you, let me show you what a stupid nigga is, right? Okay. Let's go out here. Let's go. King Face, HIV. Interesting. Well, here's what we know from his former girlfriend. King Face gave me HIV and literally just died from AIDS complications, and women are still defending him, asking for proof. I'm just thankful he never slept with one of y'all, because that would be the only proof that you need. Hashtag AIDS awareness. But Ahmaud Arbery, who did nothing wrong, who just got gunned down by two racists and one other racist who fucking blocked him in. He's a stupid nigga. A stupid nigga only because he got murdered. No, King Face, you a stupid nigga because you gave him women goddamn HIV. And that's not the only case where I've seen some fuckery, right? Check this out. I want you to check this shit out. This shit's gonna be kind of crazy if you haven't seen this story yet. Let's see. Kansas detective ran over. A Kansas City detective was ran over by cops. He was unarmed. He was just run over. All right, so mind you, this is a fucking detective. We just got ran over. You see that shit? Stay down.
Police officer myself.
That's his wife.
I rewatched it 4 times, just trying to get some sort of understanding as to why that officer felt justified in using deadly force.
Wow. They ran this man over.
He called me that night about 4:30.
His wife is, mind you guys, mind you.
The police officers ran me over.
Mind you, his wife is a cop. Well, at least was a cop, and he's a current fucking detective. And they're mistreating this guy. So what do you think that they did to fucking Breonna goddamn Taylor, huh? And yet there were assholes out there who would not listen to our damn family. They are running over their own fucking detectives. The man was unarmed and fleeing. Why do you run this man over? There's no fucking excuse. There's the headlights right there. You see the fucking headlights right there? Right there. So they saw him, or they wouldn't, or they simply were not looking, right? But even when they get out of the car, he's like, stay on the ground, don't move. You just ran the man over. You don't immediately go to fucking aggression. You try to get the man medical fucking attention. He's not going anywhere if you fucking run him over, you fucking racist piece of goddamn shit, you fucking pigs. You goddamn, okay, play it.
As a police officer myself, I rewatched it 4 times, just trying to get some sort of understanding as to why that officer felt justified in using deadly force.
Wow. Wow. You can't say he was hurting. I know they're gonna say, he was I know they're gonna say, the officer he felt threatened and the guy was running, and you don't get to run people over when they're running from you. You don't get to run them over with fucking vehicles. Are you out of your goddamn mind? And there are people out there justifying this bullshit. Notice, I want you to look at the fucking like to the fucking dislike goddamn ratio, right? All these people here, racist, every last one of them. Mind you, the comments are turned off because when they originally had the fucking comments turned on, you had members of the fucking alt-right and MAGA. Because I looked at every one of those goddamn profiles, right? And I saw MAGA people posting like, oh well, he should fucking run. You know what, MAGA? Fuck you. Suck my dick. Every last one of you. Fuck MAGA. Trump too. If you're MAGA, you're fucking retarded. If you're a cop bootlicker, you're fucking retarded. And if you got a problem with anything I got the fucking say, call in, bitch. Stop running from me then. Stop running from me. In fact, from now on, anybody who's MAGA who leaves comments in my damn comment section, I'm blocking your damn comment until you damn call in. Stop being goddamn cowards. Stop fucking downvoting goddamn videos. Stop fucking running and goddamn hiding. Face me, bitch. Justify this fucking bullshit. They are both police officers. And an officer decided to run over a fucking detective. Look, I'm gonna replay the goddamn video for you. Because I want you to see why I'm so goddamn fired up, because people out there are justifying this bullshit. Wow.
As a police officer,
stay down. Nigga, you ran him over. He's not going anywhere. What the fuck is wrong with you? You ran the man over. Listen, imagine for a second. Is there any scenario in which you would run somebody over and then tell them to comply with you? Dude, wouldn't you immediately go, okay, I'm gonna drop the fucking aggression act just for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and call the goddamn ambulance. I'm not gonna waste time saying shit like, stay on the ground. No. My next immediate move is to get on the phone or get on my damn radio and call a fucking ambulance. How do you not recognize a fucking police detective? Well, you're a cop, you fuck yourself, huh? In the same goddamn city. And even if he wasn't a fucking detective, why did you run a man over? Under what circumstances is it okay to run over a fleeing person who's running from you and you ran them over from behind? Explain that shit to me. How the fuck is that okay? You know, and I guarantee you, Tim Pool, sorry, racist ass, sorry, closet, racist bullshit, traitor to his own goddamn kind, looking ass. I guarantee you, he would justify it. Guarantee you, they all would. And shit like this is the reason why I say, until I see goddamn reforms, you're all bad. All cops bad. Holy shit. If you can't be a fucking detective and run without getting ran over from fucking behind, I don't want to hear about how great cops are. Cops ain't shit. They all bad. They all bad. In fact, honestly, the best thing that's been happening all year is how people have been just frying them up like goddamn bacon. See, I believe in what BLM goddamn said. Pigs in the blanket, fry them up like goddamn bacon. And if anyone has a problem with that, call the fuck in. I left a number on the goddamn stream. Call in. Say something about it. Because, you know, I'm getting real tired of people justifying this stuff, and then when I come to them personally about it, or I say, hey, let's fucking debate about it, they fucking run. They run. They hide from me. Stop running, stop hiding. Face me. If you want to justify what them cops do, then fucking face me about it then. Until you do, all cops are fucking bad. There we go. Simply put. But they won't do that though, because they're fucking terrified. Anyways, guys, we're going to go into some fucking news stories. We're going to cover a lot more news stories. But first story we're going to be covering is from Newsmax. We're going to cover one from MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, you name it, but Newsmax. This is a big story. I'm going to drop this in. Let's see. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you guys. So you guys, Congress set to vote on COVID relief package. It's from Newsmax. Congress is set to vote on the COVID release package after a key compromise. It's published on December 20th, which is today. The top Democrat and top Republican in the U.S. Congress on Sunday said separately they believe that they were close to a vote to pass a $900 billion package to provide first new aid in months to an economy hampered by the pandemic. The remarks followed late night negotiations in which senators from both parties struck a compromise to clear one of the final hurdles, a dispute over Federal Reserve pandemic lending authorities. That's what they're fucking debating about. They are debating. You know, listen to this crazy shit, right? The package would give. Hold on, let me see here. The package would give $600 direct payments to individuals and boost unemployment payments by $300 per week. Congress aims to include the coronavirus aid package in a $1.4 trillion spending bill funding government programs through September 2021. But at least one senior Senate Republican said there may not be enough time to pass the measures before a midnight deadline, which is 5 a.m. GMT on Monday, potentially raising the need for yet another continuing resolution to keep the government operating. U.S. House of Representative Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the chamber's top Democrat, told reporters on Sunday she wanted to give members some time to review the package before calling a vote. Excuse me, review what? You're only gonna give people $600 in a fucking direct payment, as if that's gonna make any kind of dent. That dude, if you got multiple kids, and let's say that you got for example, let's say that you have twins, and you gotta buy a formula for both twins. $600 doesn't even buy a formula for two goddamn kids, and y'all sitting there debating that shit. Pelosi said that I think we're very close. We're very close, but we want to have members. But we want to have members have enough time to review it all. Bitch, people are starving right now, and you only want to give people $600 funky ass dollars when millions of Americans haven't even gotten the first fucking stimulus yet. And you want to give people time to fucking read some shit when you know we need the shit. Nancy Pelosi, you are a piece of fucking shit. I mean, Jesus. Look. We want members to have enough time to review it all. People are starving right now. People are losing their jobs right now. Right now. And you want to debate this shit. Her Senate counterpart, Republican Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, told reporters, I think we are really, really close. Oh, you fucking dog-faced loser. You dog-faced loser. Listen. When you woke up and your bills are still due, you had to go find something to eat. Your children are crying because they are hungry, because hunger pains are a real thing. Keep in fucking mind, these people are getting paid in your money, but they are debating whether not to give you money. And by the way, they're not giving you shit. They're only giving you money. They are only giving you your money back. Sources brief on the matter told Reuters on Sunday the deal was expected to grant U.S. airlines $15 billion in new payroll assistance that will allow them to return more than 32,000 furloughed workers to their payrolls through March 31st. The deal would also include $1 billion for passenger railroad Amtrak, $14 billion for public transit systems, and $10 billion for state highways. One of the sources said. Again, you see all these billions going to Amtrak and public transit systems and state and fucking and the state highways, but $600 for Americans when millions of Americans still haven't gotten their first fucking stimulus. The House of Representatives went into session at noon Eastern time, but quickly went into recess, telling lawmakers to stay nearby and expect votes. I do have optimism. I do have optimism that it'll pass. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy said in an interview on Fox News this Sunday morning. Features with Maria Bartiromo program. I am hopeful that we get this done today. That is just. I mean, in the main hurdle that we've had so far was it was this one senator out of Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pat Toomey. He has an issue with the Federal Reserve lending programs because he thinks that what a lot of Democrat-run cities are gonna do is basically bail themselves out because they were poorly managed. But my whole thing is, my whole thing is that even if that's the case, you motherfuckers spent so much money on drone strikes and regime change wars. Now all of a sudden you care about what happens, right, to the money. I just showed y'all yesterday how Senator Pat Toomey, he's got investments in banks, he's got a $375,000 property, but he cares about you only getting $600 a month. Or $600 one-time payment, and about your unemployment is about your unemployment, but he cares about you though. He cares about you. It's just baffling to me. So I want to go to CNN. I left a link down there to that particular article so that you guys can know where the negotiations are actually going. So now that I've covered, all right. So basically, I covered Newsmax. Now I want to cover CNN. This is a major story that should worry you, because the UK is in real trouble. We have a new strain of the virus, and it's basically a new variant that you should know about. So, guys, I'm gonna leave a link down in the chat. This is crazy. You should worry about this because this basically calls a brand new fucking lockdown, man. A new COVID variant sweeping through UK. Yeah. So flights right now are shut down from the UK because it's gotten that bad. Flights from UK canceled as health minister says new coronavirus variant is out of control. It's written by
people were afraid I was contagious. I felt gross.
All right, so let's go down here. This is coming out of London. A growing number of European countries on Sunday halted flights from the UK following the discovery of a new variant of COVID-19 said by officials to spread faster than others. The new strain of coronavirus, which prompted the UK government to impose a Tier 4 lockdown in London and southeastern England and tighten restrictions for all over England over the festive period, is out of control. Health Secretary Matt Hancock said on Sunday. The UK on Sunday broke its daily coronavirus record, recording 35,928 new cases. In response, France will suspend travel both to and from the UK for 48 hours due to the new health risks. French Prime Minister Jean Castex announced on his official Twitter account on Sunday. The suspension begins at midnight local and includes all means of transport, he added. Italy will also suspend flights to and from the UK, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister Luigi Di Maio on Sunday, though he did not say when the ban would come into place or for how long. The country will ban entry to anyone who has been in Britain in the past 2 weeks, Health Minister Roberto Speranza said on Facebook Sunday. The Republic of Ireland is banning flights from Britain on Monday and Tuesday. In the interest of public health, the people of Britain, regardless of nationality, should not travel to Ireland by air or by sea, the Irish government announced in a statement. Meanwhile, Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo said that Belgium will block travelers from the UK for 24 hours on Monday as a precautionary measure, though the ban could be extended if necessary. Wow. So basically, you got these freaking the Netherlands, Latvia, Czech Republic. Basically, a lot of countries that are just blocking the UK from traveling to their country. So tough new coronavirus restrictions. So UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Saturday broke the news that London and large parts of southern and eastern England, where the cases are surging, will enter Tier 4 restrictions, similar to the lockdown seen in spring, just days after reiterating his pledge to relax rules over the Christmas period. Johnson outlined that in the Tier 4 areas under the toughest restrictions, there will be no possibility for household mixing over Christmas. In areas under low alert levels in England, Scotland, and Wales, mixing will now be permitted only on Christmas Day. So basically, a new strain of COVID is out there, and it's wreaking havoc through the UK, and they're not sure what's going to happen. And a bunch of European countries have now blocked travel from the UK. At least from what I'm seeing, in most cases, it's minimum 24 hours, but they could extend it for much longer. And basically, this is in response to a new strain of COVID that is just going crazy. So basically, in another crazy story, a part of the story is that people who live in London are fleeing. following the new restrictions. When asked about the time frame of the Tier 4 restrictions, which effectively puts parts of the UK back into the lockdown scene in spring, Hancock said Sunday, given how much faster this new variant spreads, it's going to be difficult to keep it under control until we have the vaccine rolled out. And so basically, people are rushing out. They're flying out. They're leaving. They are doing this before Monday because that's when a lot of lockdowns start. So right now, people are fleeing London to flee the freaking lockdown so that they can spend time with family. Because otherwise, you're not going to be able to mix households or even be around your family on Christmas Day if you are in the areas where that lockdown, that Tier 4 lockdown, is actually affecting. So right now, we have a new strain of coronavirus that is even faster spreading than what we had before. And that's horrifying. That's horrifying. But I left a link down below. Let me make sure I left a link down for so you guys can, yeah, there we go. You guys have the link. I'm going to move on to MSNBC. All right, so this one is the one that I saw here was very, very interesting. Okay, so must do better. So COVID-19 vaccine conspiracies have no place on local TV news. Millions of Americans depend on their local news to protect them from conspiracies and misleading claims. So basically what you've had around the country is that the local news has been putting on nonsense about the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, I understand the risk, the risk and the concerns about it, but you should only be putting out things that are coming from the vaccines makers, from the actual trials, and also from actually good sources. You don't put out conspiracy theory bullshit during a time where misinformation is pretty much already high, and you are supposedly a TV news station. All right, so it's been a rough couple of years to be a journalist, especially for those who work in local markets where 2,100 newspapers have shut down since 2005. In 2020 alone, 16,000 journalists lost their jobs across the industry. At the same time, one bright spot has been local TV news stations, which have thrived. But they're going to have to do a lot better if they're going to be the vital information sources that their communities need. With that in mind, I say this with the greatest respect and admiration for local TV news reporters. You cannot keep letting yourselves getting played, especially by the anti-vaccine movement. And so basically, you've had a lot of TV news stations just putting out bullshit. And so I'm going to leave a link down below because I didn't want to cover that story too much because there's a whole lot of much more important stories that I want to cover. But I just want to give that out there because, I mean, that's just like pretty much like a warning so that you don't fall for this. Because TV news stations haven't been doing their due diligence in terms of warning you. So I just want you guys to know about this. Also, Ali Velshi. If you thought Trump was the most dangerous threat to our democracy, you were wrong. So Ali Velshi is saying that Trump is not the greatest threat. All right. The Electoral College cast its votes Monday, but just days earlier, more than half of the House Republicans signed onto a Texas lawsuit asking the Supreme Court for an emergency order to invalidate the ballots of millions of voters in 4 battleground states, despite having zero evidence of voter fraud. You know, that is interesting because basically what this article is talking about is how Trump is not the problem. All right, and Trump is the symptom of a problem, but he's not the problem. The problem is these fucking right-wing conspiracy theorists like the QAnons, the Proud Boys, the race realists, the people here with this I covered on yesterday, the pagan church that only takes white people. who are Norse, who worship basically the Norse gods. These people are the goddamn threats. Trump is only a symptom of the problem. He is not the problem. So I'm gonna leave that down in the chat so that you guys can go back and see that, because that's a story that I thought was interesting too. So so I've already covered something from MSNBC. I don't want to keep covering it. So it's from Fox News next. So Trump is still bitching. Trump is still being a goddamn big ass baby. All right, and if you're a Trump supporter and you got an issue with that, please call in. Please call in. Don't be a coward. Please call in. Trump campaign takes fight over Pennsylvania election ballot laws to Supreme Court. President Trump still refuses to concede the outcome and continues to promote allegations that there was massive voter fraud. Written by Bradford Betts of Fox News. And it's going to be interesting. I want to read this one here. President Trump's campaign team on Sunday filed an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, asking it to reverse several cases by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to change the state's mail ballot law before all right, there we go. To change the state's mail ballot law before and after the 2020 presidential election. The president's campaign alleged in a statement that the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court's changing of the law was a violation of Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution in Bush v. Gore. The petition cites a related Pennsylvania case where Justice Samuel Alito and two other justices observed the constitutionality of the state court's decision to extend the statutory deadline for receipt of mail ballots from 8 p.m. on election day to 5 p.m. 3 days later. The campaign team said the constitutionality of the court's decision had national importance and may violate the U.S. Constitution. The petition marks the latest episode in an ongoing saga of lawsuits brought by the Trump campaign challenging the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. Trump still refuses to concede and continues to promote allegations that there was massive voter fraud. I want to get that story too. I'm gonna go back here. All right. I'm gonna keep reading, but I want to just get this one story here. Open that up. All right. Electors in all 50 states and the District of Columbia last week cast ballots, formalizing Joe Biden's victory over Trump. According to the results of the election, Biden topped Trump by electoral college count margin of 306 to 232. The Trump campaign's petition to the Supreme Court asks for an expedited review and reply by Thursday, giving it enough time before Congress meets on January to consider the votes of the Electoral College. Should the U.S. Supreme Court take up the Trump campaign's case against Pennsylvania, it's not a given that it will fundamentally impact the certification of the Electoral College in Congress. Now, close this out. The new U.S. House of Representatives and Senate will meet January 6th to convene in a joint session of Congress to certify the results of the Electoral College. Any challenge to the certification will require a vote.
This is media.
Any challenge to the certification will require a vote by both the House and Senate to toss out a state's electoral votes. I'm going to give that a link in the description. There's a few other stories that I'm going to cover from Fox News that you guys may find interesting. All right, let's go back here. Trump promises wild protests in Washington. Trump promises wild protests in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. Claims it's impossible that he lost. Trump campaign has filed a number of unsuccessful lawsuits challenging the election results. This was written by Adam Shaw about 1 day ago. President Trump on Saturday promised a wild protest in Washington D.C. on January 6th as he continued as he continued to deny that he lost the election. That is just precious. He says that it was statistically impossible to have lost the 2020 election. Big protests in D.C. on January 6th. Be there, will be wild. That's what he tweeted out. Wow. So January 6th is a day Congress will meet to accept the presidential election results. President-elect Joe Biden won the election, and presidential electors cast their votes last week in the Electoral College. Mind you, this is Fox News that's saying this, because this is basically why the Trump team, the Trump campaign, Trump himself, and the retarded ass Trump fucking voters, the fucking MAGA crowd. This is basically why they keep saying, don't even from goddamn Fox News, Newsmax, we want Newsmax, because as soon as I guarantee you, as soon as freaking Newsmax says President Biden, they're gonna say, screw Newsmax, we want a freaking Daily Stormer, because again, they keep sinking more right every time they don't get their fucking way, like a bunch of goddamn children. Overgrown fucking children. All right. But Trump and his campaign have disputed the results and launched numerous legal challenges, although nearly all of them have failed. Earlier this month, the Supreme Court shot down a Texas lawsuit trying to nullify millions of votes in key swing states. Oh, man. That's just precious. That's just precious. That's just precious. Again, he's calling for a wild, massive protest to happen because he didn't win an election. That is just precious. Don't you find that precious? Because I find that to be precious. All right. With that being said, guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the comment button, hit the share button. Let people know that I actually run this podcast. If you want to call in, the number is 253-203-6784. Again, the number is 253-203-6784. You can call in if you just agree or you don't agree. That's fine with me. I would love to hear what you think. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna take a 30-minute break. I'll be right back with more Pitchfork podcast, guys. Don't go anywhere. Be back in 30 minutes. All right.
See that riots do not develop. But in the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard.
In the state of South Carolina, all it takes to be jailed for missing the child support payment is one missed payment in 5 days, which is less than a week. In 2015, Walter Lamar Scott was gunned down by a North Charleston police officer by the name of Michael Slager. People protested, people were outraged, and there was a lot of people out there who were confused as to how a man whose only offense was missing a child support payment ends up being gunned down in the back. Well, there's more to the story than this. Here's the other side of the story that the media didn't tell you about the Walter Scott story. Now, do keep in mind that South Carolina only has 5.1 million people in the whole state, so if 13.2% of those 18,848 people were incarcerated at the cost of $14,545, that means that a state with only 5.1 million people spent no less than $36.1 million, which is more than 7 times the dollar amount per person, to lock up disproportionately black men on a first-time nonviolent offense when they only had a week to pay. I'm going to reveal something that the world does not know about Walter Scott, and part of the reason why he got gunned down. What you see before you is a screenshot from the FBI's own webpage, and this information is about the FBI's National Crime Information Center report listing. And this listing is usually reserved for terrorists and people who go on mass shootings, hence why you have the C in the NCIC, which stands for crime and not civil. And in 2012, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, or SLED, Chief Mark Keel sent a letter to the South Carolina Attorney General's office with the question of, should people be placed into the NCIC for non-criminal offenses? And in the return letter, which is publicly available, the South Carolina Attorney General's office flat out told Mark Keel and every law enforcement officer and court in the whole state that people should not be placed into the NCIC for civil offenses because the NCIC was intended for criminal offenses, meaning that if someone misses a child support payment, you are not supposed to put them into the NCIC. Now, that opinion was published in 2012 and Walter Scott was shot in 2015. So why is it that Walter Scott was ever entered into the NCIC? You see, if his family knew that, they could sue the daylights out of South Carolina right now. Because Walter Scott getting shot makes a lot more sense because the officer who shot him, Michael Slager, was a law enforcement officer in the state of South Carolina in North Charleston. And North Charleston is a known dangerous area. So when Walter Scott gets pulled over and gets stopped, and when Michael Slager sees that he's in the NCIC, Michael Slager is thinking, okay, this is a very dangerous area. I understand that this list is usually reserved for someone who's like a terrorist or an actual violent offender, and this guy is running. So let me go ahead and shoot him because if I don't shoot him, I could be letting the terrorists run free. Now, Michael Slager should not have shot Walter Scott in the back. That is without question. But you see, it wasn't just Michael Slager who pulled that trigger. It was also the South Carolina government, the courts, and especially the family courts, who have judges who routinely go after people who speak out against judges such as Brenda Bryant and myself and many others. This man was placed into the NCIC as a violent offender for missing a child support payment, even though missing a child support payment is not a violent offense. It's not even a criminal offense. I did my own digging and found this out. Now, the person who originally told me this, it was the woman who was the subject of my last video, who is currently being retaliated against in the state of South Carolina, who was also placed into the NCIC as a violent offender, even though she wasn't a violent offender, and the correctional facility in North Carolina who had her in custody called South Carolina and informed them to cease placing people into the NCIC as violent offenders when they're not violent offenders. Because when an officer encounters that person, they're thinking they're a terrorist or a violent offender. And that places the officer and the individual in question in a situation in which both don't need to be in. Allow me to quote something from the Marshall Project, and this is a non-profit who only cares about criminal justice reform. In South Carolina, at least 1 in 8 people in jail are there on contempt of court charges related to late or unpaid child support orders. Nationally, as many as 50,000 parents may be in jail on those charges, though the exact number is uncertain, mainly because, quote, contempt of court, end quote, is a general charge that does not only apply to child support cases. The best available data suggests that a majority of these jailed parents are black fathers. Now, how bad does this actually get? Well, here's a quote from MSNBC from an article titled, "How Falling Behind on Child Support Can End in Jail." It says here, 2 surveys of county jails in South Carolina conducted in the last decade found that at least 1 out of every 8 incarcerated people were there because they had been held in contempt of court for not paying child support. Under South Carolina law, if a family receives public benefits, it takes only 5 days of a non-custodial parent, usually a father, falling behind on a payment to trigger a civil contempt hearing that could mean ending up in jail for up to a year. And unlike many other states, South Carolina doesn't allow modifications for how much child support is owed if the parent is incarcerated, whether for owing child support or another reason. The result in such states without such modifications is that people can easily leave jail owing $15,000 to $30,000 in child support, in addition to other fees related to their incarceration. Do you understand what MSNBC and the Marshall Project and the ACLU and so many other organizations have been trying to tell you this whole time about South Carolina's child support enforcement and their child support laws? What they're basically saying is that the laws were not designed for the rich and the famous and the powerful. It was designed for poor people so that you have a reason to extract fines from them. You can get prison labor, you can get federal funds, and on top of that, this gives the cops who are the bad apples an excuse to harass and intimidate black men when they otherwise couldn't justify doing so. Think about it for a second. If you understand that South Carolina is a poor state, and if you understand that the average job does not even pay you within the first week, why would you design laws like this unless you knew that you have a large population of poor black people and poor white people that you can justify throwing in jail over and over and over again under the guise of these being deadbeat fathers, when the truth is, had people read the child support laws and realized how racist and draconian South Carolina is, they would never fix their mouth to make such a statement. Because whether or not Walter Scott owed a child support payment, his black life mattered. In fact, every black father's life matters. I don't think owing anything, and especially in a case of a state that is so draconian, means that your life matters less. And just me making that statement, I know that somebody gonna be in the comment section or somebody's gonna approach me and they're gonna say, well, white people were slaves too. Well, you're right, they were slaves, and they're targeting mostly black fathers, but they're also targeting poor white fathers. And back in the day, it was the poor white people who were slaves. So there's no point in you arguing, because when you mention white slavery and I mentioned the 13th Amendment and what's happening in South Carolina, you're only proving my point. You're right, slavery did exist. It certainly happened to white people, and it's happening right now, and yet for some reason the political right in South Carolina is awfully silent, and yet they have the nerve and the audacity to wonder why people are rioting and protesting. Well, my response to them is zip it. You know exactly why people are angry. You know exactly why people are upset. And it's not just the cops and the courts and the politicians who are sitting around saying, why are people so upset? There are political hacks in South Carolina who are on the political right for the most part, who are going around saying things like, why are people so upset? Well, let me explain to you the reason why in a very, very simplistic way. It's because black people are tired of being treated like niggas, and poor white people wish they had your money so that they wouldn't have to be niggas too. That's the problem here. This is the new Jim Crow. And yet there are some people out there who are so deaf, who are so slow, that they refuse to see that. Because apparently abuse is not abuse so long as the person abusing you has an R behind their name.
In the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard.
In the state of South Carolina, all it takes to be jailed for missing the child support payment is one missed payment in 5 days, which is less than a week. In 2015, Walter Lamar Scott was gunned down by a North Charleston police officer by the name of Michael Slager. People protested, people were outraged, and there was a lot of people out there who were confused as to how a man whose only offense was missing a child support payment ends up being gunned down in the back. Well, there's more to the story than this. Here's the other side of the story that the media didn't tell you about the Walter Scott story. Now, do keep in mind that South Carolina only has 5.1 million people in the whole state, so if 13.2% of those 18,848 people were incarcerated at the cost of $14,545, that means that a state with only 5.1 million people spent no less than $36.1 million, which is more than 7 times the dollar amount per person, to lock up disproportionately black men on a first-time nonviolent offense when they only had a week to pay. I'm going to reveal something that the world does not know about Walter Scott, and part of the reason why he got gunned down. What you see before you is a screenshot from the FBI's own webpage, and this information is about the FBI's National Crime Information Center report listing. And this listing is usually reserved for terrorists and people who go on mass shootings, hence why you have the C in the NCIC, which stands for crime and not civil. And in 2012, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, or SLED, Chief Mark Keel sent a letter to the South Carolina Attorney General's office with the question of, should people be placed into the NCIC for non-criminal offenses? And in the return letter, which is publicly available, the South Carolina Attorney General's office flat out told Mark Keel and every law enforcement officer and court in the whole state that people should not be placed into the NCIC for civil offenses because the NCIC was intended for criminal offenses, meaning that if someone misses a child support payment, you are not supposed to put them into the NCIC. Now, that opinion was published in 2012 and Walter Scott was shot in 2015. So why is it that Walter Scott was ever entered into the NCIC? You see, if his family knew that, they could sue the daylights out of South Carolina right now. Because Walter Scott getting shot makes a lot more sense, because the officer who shot him, Michael Slager, was a law enforcement officer in the state of South Carolina in North Charleston, and North Charleston is a known dangerous area. So when Walter Scott gets pulled over and gets stopped, and when Michael Slager sees that he's in the NCIC, Michael Slager is thinking, okay, this is a very dangerous area. I understand that this list is usually reserved for someone who's like a terrorist or an actual violent offender, and this guy is running. So let me go ahead and shoot him, because if I don't shoot him, I could be letting the terrorists run free. Now, Michael Slager should not have shot Walter Scott in the back. That is without question. But you see, it wasn't just Michael Slager who pulled that trigger. It was also the South Carolina government, the courts, and especially the family courts, who have judges who routinely go after people who speak out against judges such as Brenda Bryant and myself and many others. This man was placed into the NCIC as a violent offender for missing a child support payment, even though missing a child support payment is not a violent offense. It's not even a criminal offense. I did my own digging and found this out. Now, the person who originally told me this, it was the woman who was the subject of my last video, who is currently being retaliated against in the state of South Carolina, who was also placed into the NCIC as a violent offender, even though she wasn't a violent offender, and the correctional facility in North Carolina who had her in custody called South Carolina and informed them to cease placing people into the NCIC as violent offenders when they're not violent offenders. Because when an officer encounters that person, they're thinking they're a terrorist or a violent offender. And that places the officer and the individual in question in a situation in which both don't need to be in. Allow me to quote something from the Marshall Project, and this is a non-profit who only cares about criminal justice reform. In South Carolina, at least 1 in 8 people in jail are there on contempt of court charges related to late or unpaid child support orders. Nationally, as many as 50,000 parents may be in jail on those charges, though the exact number is uncertain, mainly because, quote, contempt of court, end quote, is a general charge that does not only apply to child support cases. The best available data suggests that a majority of these jailed parents are black fathers. Now, how bad does this actually get? Well, here's a quote from MSNBC from an article titled, "How Falling Behind on Child Support Can End in Jail." It says here, 2 surveys of county jails in South Carolina conducted in the last decade found that at least 1 out of every 8 incarcerated people were there because they had been held in contempt of court for not paying child support. Under South Carolina law, if a family receives public benefits, it takes only 5 days of a non-custodial parent, usually a father, falling behind on a payment to trigger a civil contempt hearing that could mean ending up in jail for up to a year. And unlike many other states, South Carolina doesn't allow modifications for how much child support is owed if the parent is incarcerated, whether for owing child support or another reason. The result in such states without such modifications is that people can easily leave jail owing $15,000 to $30,000 in child support, in addition to other fees related to their incarceration. Do you understand what MSNBC and the Marshall Project and the ACLU and so many other organizations have been trying to tell you this whole time about South Carolina's child support enforcement and their child support laws? What they're basically saying is that the laws were not designed for the rich and the famous and the powerful. It was designed for poor people, so that you have a reason to extract fines from them. You can get prison labor, you can get federal funds, and on top of that, this gives the cops who are the bad apples an excuse to harass and intimidate black men when they otherwise couldn't justify doing so. Think about it for a second. If you understand that South Carolina is a poor state, and if you understand that the average job does not even pay you within the first week, why would you design laws like this unless you knew that you have a large population of poor black people and poor white people that you can justify throwing in jail over and over and over again under the guise of these being deadbeat fathers, when the truth is, had people read the child support laws and realized how racist and draconian South Carolina is, they would never fix their mouth to make such a statement. Because whether or not Walter Scott owed a child support payment, his black life mattered. In fact, every black father's life matters. I don't think owing anything, and especially in a case of a state that is so draconian, means that your life matters less. And just me making that statement, I know that somebody gonna be in the comment section or somebody's gonna approach me and they're gonna say, well, white people were slaves too. Well, you're right, they were slaves, and they're targeting mostly black fathers, but they're also targeting poor white fathers. And back in the day, it was the poor white people who were slaves. So there's no point in you arguing, because when you mention white slavery and I mentioned the 13th Amendment and what's happening in South Carolina, you're only proving my point. You're right, slavery did exist. It certainly happened to white people, and it's happening right now, and yet for some reason the political right in South Carolina is awfully silent, and yet they have the nerve and the audacity to wonder why people are rioting and protesting. Well, my response to them is zip it. You know exactly why people are angry. You know exactly why people are upset. And it's not just the cops and the courts and the politicians who are sitting around saying, why are people so upset? There are political hacks in South Carolina who are on the political right for the most part, who are going around saying things like, why are people so upset? Well, let me explain to you the reason why in a very, very simplistic way. It's because black people are tired of being treated like niggas, and poor white people wish they had your money so that they wouldn't have to be niggas too. That's the problem here. This is the new Jim Crow. And yet there are some people out there who are so deaf, who are so slow, that they refuse to see that. Because apparently abuse is not abuse so long as the person abusing you has an R behind their name.
But in the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard.
In the state of South Carolina, all it takes to be jailed for missing the child support payment is one missed payment in 5 days, which is less than a week. In 2015, Walter Lamar Scott was gunned down by a North Charleston police officer by the name of Michael Slager. People protested, people were outraged, and there was a lot of people out there who were confused as to how a man whose only offense was missing a child support payment ends up being gunned down in the back. Well, there's more to the story than this. Here's the other side of the story that the media didn't tell you about the Walter Scott story. Now, do keep in mind that South Carolina only has 5.1 million people in the whole state. So if 13.2% of those 18,848 people were incarcerated at the cost of $14,545, that means that a state with only 5.1 million people spent no less than $36.1 million, which is more than 7 times the dollar amount per person, to lock up disproportionately black men on a first-time nonviolent offense when they only had a week to pay. I'm going to reveal something that the world does not know about Walter Scott, and part of the reason why he got gunned down. What you see before you is a screenshot from the FBI's own webpage, and this information is about the FBI's National Crime Information Center report listing. And this listing is usually reserved for terrorists and people who go on mass shootings, hence why you have the C in the NCIC, which stands for crime and not civil. And in 2012, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, or SLED, Chief Mark Keel sent a letter to the South Carolina Attorney General's office with the question of, should people be placed into the NCIC for non-criminal offenses? And in the return letter, which is publicly available, the South Carolina Attorney General's office flat out told Mark Keel and every law enforcement officer and court in the whole state that people should not be placed into the NCIC for civil offenses because the NCIC was intended for criminal offenses, meaning that if someone misses a child support payment, you are not supposed to put them into the NCIC. Now, that opinion was published in 2012 and Walter Scott was shot in 2015. So why is it that Walter Scott was ever entered into the NCIC? You see, if his family knew that, they could sue the daylights out of South Carolina right now. Because Walter Scott getting shot makes a lot more sense, because the officer who shot him, Michael Slager, was a law enforcement officer in the state of South Carolina in North Charleston, and North Charleston is a known dangerous area. So when Walter Scott gets pulled over and gets stopped, and when Michael Slager sees that he's in the NCIC, Michael Slager is thinking, okay, this is a very dangerous area. I understand that this list is usually reserved for someone who's like a terrorist or an actual violent offender, and this guy is running. So let me go ahead and shoot him, because if I don't shoot him, I could be letting the terrorists run free. Now, Michael Slager should not have shot Walter Scott in the back. That is without question. But you see, it wasn't just Michael Slager who pulled that trigger. It was also the South Carolina government, the courts, and especially the family courts, who have judges who routinely go after people who speak out against judges such as Brenda Bryant and myself and many others. This man was placed into the NCIC as a violent offender for missing a child support payment, even though missing a child support payment is not a violent offense. It's not even a criminal offense. I did my own digging and found this out. Now, the person who originally told me this, it was the woman who was the subject of my last video, who is currently being retaliated against in the state of South Carolina, who was also placed into the NCIC as a violent offender, even though she wasn't a violent offender, and the correctional facility in North Carolina who had her in custody called South Carolina and informed them to cease placing people into the NCIC as violent offenders when they're not violent offenders. Because when an officer encounters that person, they're thinking they're a terrorist or a violent offender. And that places the officer and the individual in question in a situation in which both don't need to be in. Allow me to quote something from the Marshall Project, and this is a nonprofit who only cares about criminal justice reform. In South Carolina, at least one... All right, guys. All right. We are back. We are back with more Pitchfork podcast, guys. I left a link to my Discord. Also, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. Again, the number is 253-203-6784. All right, so we're gonna get back started up with the Pitchfork podcast, guys. With that being said, guys, I put out some things about police officers, and I'm gonna say it again. Fuck the police. They ain't shit. Their daddy ain't shit, their mama ain't shit, the kids ain't shit, the dog ain't shit. I don't give a fuck. If you are associated with police officers, I want you to fucking call in so I can cuss your ass out. Or I can just make you feel bad, because I'll tell you what, if you come on the channel defending goddamn cops, I'm just gonna make your life a living fucking hell. You are not gonna have a good time here. Because I don't like cops. I made it clear. I don't know why people come to this channel, right, expecting me to like cops when I've clearly expressed I don't fucking like cops. And it's very interesting, right, when you get these so-called freedom-loving people. They are freedom-loving, man. They love freedom, right? And they never seem to they never want to actually debate you on a reasonable term, right? They always want to try to troll you or swarm you. They are never going to actually come one-on-one and just face you. And just face you. It's always going to be a bunch of BS, whereas pretty much they want to be able to troll you and take over your fucking show. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to work. I hate cops. And if you want to debate me, I left a number for your sorry flicking cop dick sucking selves. Stop running from me and face me, cowards. But you won't, because like your cop friends, you're terrified. If you can't go into a situation stacked, cowards, all of you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and leave a little note on Parler, because I'm gonna go at them on Parler. Go at the bootlickers on Parler, because they really don't like it when I go after them, and so that's why I'm gonna actually do it. They're very upset with me, because I say the things that I say. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't give a shit how upset you get with me. If you are a Trump voter, or if you're one of those people who want to defend cops constantly, I'm gonna let you know I don't fucking like you, and I'm gonna make your life a living hell on this damn channel. But you won't do it. You won't. They won't face me ever. They will never face me. They will never face me. They will never. You know. They will never face me. They will never just come through and face me in a one-on-one debate. They will never do that. They will never do that. They will always want to come in like crowds, right? They will always come in crowds because that's what they do. That's what they do. They will always do that. Come face me. Come face me. I'm gonna tweet out that on freaking Parler. Come face me, cowards, about your disgusting road pirates you call cops. They all deserve a bullet. As far as I'm concerned. If you don't like it, then call in. I got a show. Don't be fucking cowards. Face me. Face me. Face me. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and tweet out at him. I reached out to him on freaking Parler. They have no excuse, right? No excuse to not reach back out to me, right? Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that one of the reasons why I don't like police officers, and I'm gonna go ahead and make it very, very clear to you. Police officers are the scum of the goddamn earth. To be honest with you, every last one of them, we need to basically just like restart. We need to basically, I'm not encouraging anyone to do this, but honestly, perhaps, maybe there should be a bunch of more dead cops and their families. Fuck them all. I don't want, I don't want any fucking chance of them reproducing more abusive goddamn cops. I don't want any chance of that. So I'm going to say it. I fucking hate police officers, and they all deserve a goddamn bullet. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not telling you to fucking do it. I just say that I personally believe they all deserve a goddamn bullet. If you don't fucking agree with it, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. Call in. Stop bitching. Stop downvoting shit. Call in. Face me. I'm right here. I'm not fucking running. I even got this Skype number and paid for it just so you could actually call in. Now, if you don't call in, you still talking that shit. Then I'm gonna actually ban you from the goddamn channel. No. See. I'm giving you the opportunity. I do this show every fucking day. Every day. There is no excuse to be bitching and moaning in the goddamn comment section when I run the show every day. You don't work 24 hours a day, 7 days 7 days a goddamn week. So if you're gonna sit here and downvote somebody else's content, talk shit to them, call my fucking nigga and all that shit, right? Then you should have the fucking balls to call in, right? Right? There shouldn't be no fucking running, ducking, and hiding, right? But you know something, right? The only time in which they want to call in which they want to call in is to troll, call you a nigga, or basically try to take over your damn show. No. When you speak to me, you will lower your fucking voice. You will speak to me like a fucking human being. I understand that you might not think that fucking black people are goddamn humans, but guess what? I am, bitch. And you will treat me as fucking such because I fucking demand it. Now, when you call into this fucking show, call in. Stop fucking running. In fact, a lot of times what I do is I mute myself just so you can goddamn talk. But the second you start trolling, the second you start with fucking M-bombs, the second that you refuse to shut the fuck up and let me challenge the shit that you just said, you kicked off, you're banned, you're blocked. If you leave any further comments, I'm gonna keep blocking and fucking banning you. No, you will fucking face me like a goddamn adult, especially if you're a goddamn man. Especially if you're a goddamn man. The one thing I can't stand is a weak ass, bitch ass man. I ain't running from you. Phone number's open. 253-203-6784. 253-203-6784. Where the fuck are they? Where are they? You see? All that talking that shit, all that yakety yak, right? All that big Billy badass shit, right? Right? And they sitting there hiding from me. They can't even face me. Terrified. Horrified. And I understand why, right? Because it's very easy to show up to a younger black person's channel who is maybe like a young teenager who's pushing BLM stuff. It's very easy to show up to their channel and just start crowding them so much to the point where you have people, you know, who will just dogpile them, and then that person will concede and they'll say, "Oh, see, we have totally changed this person's goddamn mind," right? Right? But apparently, when I call them out directly and I say, come face me on my live show, you cowards. I left the phone number for you to call, but you cowards will always run just like your pathetic pig road pirates. The more dead cops we see, the better this country is. Fuck you, and fuck you for running from me, you bitches. So I'm just antagonizing them on goddamn Parler and fucking Twitter, and they're not even showing up. I'm on Parler. I'm on Parler. Your fucking home ground. I'm on your home court talking shit to you. Tweeting out at you. Sending fucking Stop the Steal and Back the Blue and Police Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter. I message all them bastards. In fact, I'll even show you. Let me go turn on the live scene real quick. I'll even show you. We're going to go over the Parler, right? I'll even show you. I reached out to them, and they're not even responding because they are a bunch of goddamn bitches. Here we go, right here. Come face me on my live show, you cowards. I left the phone number for you to call, but you cowards always run like just like your fucking your pathetic pig road pirates. The more dead cops we see, the better this country is. Fuck you and fuck you and fuck you for running from me, you bitches. That's pretty hard. Okay, I said, come face me, you cowards, about your disgusting road pirates you call cops. They all deserve they all deserve a bullet, as far as I'm concerned. If you don't like that, then call in. I got a show. Don't be fucking cowards. Face me, because these are the same people who show up to my comment sections, right, and just massively downvote shit. Well, I'm giving you the opportunity to come and face me now. I'm giving you the fucking opportunity to come and face me and actually call in. So that means that from now on, if you don't call in and if you don't actually face me, I'm banning you from the goddamn channel. You ain't shit. You a fucking coward. Fuck your cops. Your cops are all fucking losers. They all deserve to die. I said it. And I'm not. And guess what? I'm not fucking apologizing for it. All right. So we got a call in from 707 here. We're gonna go ahead and call this number back. All right. So we're gonna go ahead. We got a live call here. Let's go ahead and see what we get from 707. See what we get.
Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
This is Devil's Advocate. Let's see what we get.
Hey man, how you doing?
This is Devil's Advocate with the Pitchfork podcast. I see that you tried to call in.
Sure did, bro. Yeah, I did. I don't think all the cops need a bullet, dude. I think a good number of them do, but not all of them.
I do, and here's why.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's let me kind of explain the reasoning for this, right? You see,
for sure.
In this country, nothing ever changes without a massive amount of violence. Like, for example, you look at the coronavirus thing, you look at the airport security, you look at many things. Things never change without massive violence, right? So it doesn't really matter if it's an innocent bystander. If police officers understood that every time you shoot an unarmed person, one of us is gonna drag you out on your fucking your fucking front goddamn lawn and behead you in front of your fucking children. I guarantee you, if that happened enough, that shit would stop fucking overnight. Guarantee you.
Sure, yeah, for sure. And what bugs me is when they do some gnarly shit and then they get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, like I'll give you a prime example of that shit, man. You remember the whole Breonna Taylor shit, right?
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker, the fucking boyfriend. The cop who killed Breonna Taylor is fucking suing him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Are you actually watching the fucking? Are you watching the actual live stream? I'm actually gonna pull it up for you right now. Cop suing Kenneth Walker. So let's see.
I'm way behind you.
Yeah, that is some crazy shit. This is reported by CBS News. Louisville police officer sues Kenneth Walker, boyfriend of Breonna Taylor, for emotional distress, assault, and battery.
Wow, huh?
Yeah.
He's doing his job.
Yeah.
He's a coward. They're cowards.
See?
Dude, up where I'm from in Northern California, there was a dam, not a dam, but a bridge being built over a river. The security guy was sitting on top of the bridge in his Corvette, just chilling, and a car come up on the other side of the bridge, creeped across it with his high beams on, till it got 20 or 30 yards away from his rig, and then opened the doors and busted fire on this guy. And they shot at him like 20 times, hit him in the neck, didn't kill him. He pulled out his hand cannon and scared him off. Turns out it was the cops.
Oh,
the guys
my
in the
God.
car up on the community with the pigs. They didn't announce who they were. And you know what they said? They said they were afraid for their lives because when they pulled up, they saw him take his gun off the dashboard and put it on the seat. And this guy's security guy at a fucking construction site in the middle of nowhere, where you got to watch out for the pigs.
Wow, that's. Well, do you actually have like an article about that or something, or something that I can like look up? Like
I could look it up. I know what paper covered it in Northern California.
Do you know the guys on name?
I don't know any of the people involved. I know that two of them were Hoopa police, tribal police, and the guy was a local who was working security on a construction project.
Mm.
It was. I could probably try to find something.
Yeah. I would love to have that, man, because my whole thing is that. I love to cover stories like that, and that's not something that I would cover. But I want you to understand the reason why I'm being so extreme. There's a reason why I'm saying what I'm fucking saying. I'm saying this because I don't literally mean kill every cop. I'm letting people know how black people feel. See, I'm trying to actually basically invert it, and it's not just black people, but it's also poor freaking white people too. The
real line, I believe, there's a couple dividing lines in this country, and race has been like fading a bit until the last few years, but money's where it's fucking divided.
Yeah.
Where they got us against each other. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I'll give you a prime example of that. The fucking shit with the bullshit with urban camping. You basically just keep locking up a bunch of homeless people. So basically the message is, hey bum, go find a goddamn job, but here's this fucking jail record to help you do that with. Wait, what?
Or we're gonna drive you insane by not allowing you to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's against the the UN charter. They're violating the UN shit when they roust homeless people and make them keep moving.
Right. Like those people have nowhere to go, and come January, February, March, there's gonna be a lot more homeless. And I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, I don't think that the American people are gonna keep tolerating the bullshit from goddamn cops, man. Especially when they're going through shit. Because, dude, we might actually see a Great fucking Depression, man. We might actually see that.
It might be better than the last one.
God, man.
The economy has been destroyed by this reaction to this COVID thing.
So how do you feel about Congress and the Senate taking so long to get any kind of like any kind of fucking relief and like only like $600?
When in your lifetime, when somebody that you care about needs something really badly, do you jump up and get it as quickly as you possibly can for your friend?
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. You're a human being, right?
Right, right.
These fucking lizards that we got representing us don't give a fuck about us. And they make everything political. It isn't a political thing that the people are dying of starvation. And you know what I mean? And it's because we're doing what they told us to. You know, holding up.
Right, right.
I don't go out. I stay at home.
Well,
I build guitars. I stay at home.
Well, I want to also ask you this. What do you think about Pat Toomey? He was holding up the coronavirus. He was one of many, but he was like the main guy that was holding up the COVID relief bill because of he didn't want Democrat cities to have control over any kind of lending programs because he didn't want those cities to be like basically bailed out for like bad decisions. But what do you feel about him personally and him doing that?
You know, I don't really have enough data on the guy to form a real opinion on him. But it would seem to me, again, if things are falling apart in let's say your family member's life, and you got a fucking pile of money, and you could help him out by kicking him down a little bit, you would kick him down a little bit, right?
Right. Well, the other question that I want to ask you is that he has over $2 million in investments in more than $30 million in investments. So if he's going to hold on to that, do you think that he should release all that to the American people?
I think all that investment shit should be transparent. That all of it. It's our money. It ain't you know the Federal Reserve is a company that we all own, and that's our money.
All right. So what do you feel about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and pretty much everybody that is supposedly voting on this bill now, and how is that going to change your future voting patterns?
I tell you, that's a good question. I won't vote for Nancy Pelosi or Chuck ever again, and I had in the past. She's gone off the deep end. The Democrats are doing the same thing the Republicans were doing in the 90s. It's like they've switched places, and
it's wild, isn't it?
And
it is just wild, man. How they pretty much have switched places. But you are absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. Like I'm very curious as to what you think about what you think they're gonna do going forward in terms of an actual bill. Do you think that there should be like a third stimulus? Yeah, sure.
If you know, they should have had one before now for sure. I mean, the $1,200. I'm supposed to be getting that unemployment bullshit, dude. Somebody stole my unemployment off the website, and now I can't get it. And I go through every other day. I'm on the website for an hour trying to call people. It's becoming where it just drives me nuts to even think about calling them.
Right, you know, right. Have you I'm curious. Has your local rep or anybody done anything about that?
No, they don't even answer the phone.
All right. Well, tell you what, man. After the live stream, I want you to go over to my channel, go over to the about section, hit up my social media, or go to the description of this very very live stream. Let me know who you. Well, don't tell me your name, but just tell me who your rep is. Tell me who your rep and who your sender is, and let me deal with them. Because they won't answer the phone call from you, but when the fucking U.S. Press Association is fucking calling, they will answer eventually, guaranteed.
Well, what it is ours is the one here in Arizona. It's ran through through unemployment insurance. So
really,
so they tell me that I've got $5,000 in an account somewhere, but they won't cut loose with it.
So, wow, man. That is insane. But again, reach out to me and I will see what I can do. I will raise some hell for you. Trust me. People usually, when I call, people usually kind of like scatter. But anyways, the other question that I want to ask you, and I'm very curious about this one. How has COVID affected you personally? I mean, and you can just go on, and I'm going to actually mute myself so that you can just tell the audience how it's personally affected you.
Well, I'm a stonemason by trade, and it's a big job. It's pretty cool.
So you are a stonemason. Has COVID really affected like your work?
Oh yeah, big time. I'll tell you. First off, I lost a contract when it first came out. I had a big waterfall I was supposed to be building up in Northern California, and it got shut down. And then towards the last about a month and a half ago, I came down with COVID, and I wasn't real sick though, and but one day I went to the hospital. I felt my heart was acting up, and I went into the hospital, and they fucking zapped me and put me upstairs and said, "You got COVID," and it caused my heart to enlarge.
Wait, so COVID caused you to have a fucking enlarged heart, man?
Wow. Big time, both vegetables, left and right, and a medial.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, it's all right. Hey, check it out. I'm gonna go to Cedar Sinai in LA and get stem cell treatment done on it.
I mean, but that's got to be scary. So COVID can actually cause you to have a freaking enlarged heart. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's on both sides too. It's enlarged. It's not just enlarged like left ventricle, which is what most people get. I don't know why, but it's both ventricles, both of the big bottom parts of the pump. You know, the top two chambers aren't that big, and the big chambers are on the bottom. I've been learning about my heart. So.
I'm sure that you have, but the very, very final question that I want to ask you is, what message would you like to give to our so-called leaders?
Start leading, and stop politicizing every damn thing. You know, everything doesn't have to be political.
Yes, sir. And if there's any like final statement that you want to make, I'm gonna mute myself so that you can just go ahead and make it.
No, not really. Just like I said, man, the government needs to get off their ass and do something, and stop politicizing everything, and stop butchering people for their like this political awareness thing, political correctness. That's gone insane. Political correctness is insane. And like these people that are against the freedom of speech, those people are enemies of the Constitution and should be rounded up. I mean, really, if you don't like it, if you don't like freedom of speech, go to Venezuela and talk your shit there, see what you get.
Yeah.
But I love my country. I know it's fucked up, but it's the best one there is, even all fucked up. And it's one that we can change from the inside. We don't have to burn everything down to change it. We can. There are pathways to do it, and people will suffer as long as things are sufferable. But once they get unsufferable, they'll change it. And
yep.
We have the best. How many governments on this planet, true representative governments, have been around for 200 years on this planet? One.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah. So I go ahead.
It was cool talking with you. I'm gonna get off the fucking phone. I hate the telephone.
No. Yeah, I want to tell you, man. Thank you for calling in, and thank you for being so candid and being so open. I do appreciate that. And I also just want to know what people are actually going through. You know, because a lot of content guys, like they'll say, oh, the freaking donations are goddamn down, or the freaking views down. It's like, dude, people are suffering. You fucking selfish asshole. I care about what you're going through. I don't care about myself, because I mean, but people are gonna always have issues, right? But I want to know Go ahead.
You ain't really no good to nobody if you're so fucked up that you can't take care of yourself. But there are people that are so fucked up they can't take care of themselves, and we got to help them.
Right.
It's just that's what it means to be a human. You
right.
know, like when we were living in caves a couple 100,000 years ago, they started seeing that the people were being buried next to the cave mouth, right? And they thought, no, that's civilization. They're being civilized. And then this one guy, about 10 years later, he digs one up and he finds one inside the cave that had a broken arm that had healed. And he said, no, this is civilization. They brought their dead into their house with them, buried him. He had a broken arm that healed. You know, that's something else, man. We got to start being, we're not even that way. We'll let some fucker just rot on the street, high step over that fucker, you know, maybe drop some spare change. If, you know, it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, especially if you go over to places like, you know, like Cali, where it's like you see all the needles on the ground, everything else, and people just like they'll start criticizing like the drug addicts and like the homeless people. It's like, you think somebody wants to be like that, man? Like you think somebody wants to be like that? Of course not. No, we shouldn't be demonizing these people.
Just like the shit thing in Frisco. Those people don't want to shit on the street. It's just nobody will let you use their toilet. And anywhere. I've been in Frisco a lot. I'm from Northern California. I was born 200 miles north of Frisco.
Yeah. So basically, you know, I think that your message is that we should care about each other a little bit more, and a part of that starts with our so-called elected leaders who are not really representing our best interests. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say so. It seems to me that they're all pretty much sold out, you know. Like by the time you get into national office, you've taken so much money from the PACs and from all these other outfits. Only very rarely you run into somebody like Ron Paul who doesn't take it, or Tulsi Gabbard, who I really like a lot.
I love Tulsi Gabbard. She's so sexy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Whew.
She's a fucking queen, dude. That woman's beautiful.
Yes, she is. I call her coconut milk mommy. Yeah. I like her. I liked her. I think she would have been a great candidate because, I mean, you know,
her and Bernie, they would have done it, dude. They would be the ones taking over the White House on. But no, they fucked Bernie just like they did in 2016. The same exact fucking kind of fuck. You know,
because people think people think that there's actually a difference between the modern day Democrat Party and the Republican Party, and there's not really that much of a difference. It's not like that's why even though I don't necessarily agree with like the Green Party or anything else, I would rather them take over than like another fucking neoliberal. You know,
it would be a great idea to have a third or fourth and fifth party and have like our government has to put together coalitions inside, like they do in some in you know, Europe and places like this where it ain't just a left and right thing. It's like, you know, we're gonna have our commies and our fucking lefties.
Right. Well, the thing about it is that it comes down to interest, right? It comes down to interest, and I've noticed that no one's interest is ever us. It's never us.
You know, like when that tornado came, wiped out New Orleans, right? You didn't see all those boats fucking lining up to fucking save our ass. I mean, there was foreign aid, but yeah, we're usually the ones that out there toting the barge and lifting the bale.
Yeah, I remember when they actually left people out there for so long to the point where people were actually being eaten up by freaking ants, right? Because what ants can do, like especially the freaking fire ants, right? They'll actually take their bodies and they'll actually build like an actual physical raft. They will actually make a raft out of their freaking bodies because they can actually hold their breath. So they were like floating castles of freaking ants, and as soon as somebody would go like swimming, they'd get like a handful of like a face full of freaking fire ants. So you had people out there being eaten freaking alive by freaking fire ants because our government had failed them that much. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Or like That guy, the retarded guy on the bridge. Remember?
Yeah.
That the cops shot to death.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that very, very well.
He was just trying to get some help.
Yeah.
He waved down the police. Once the side of and fuck, they shot his ass dead.
There was one kid named Lyndon Cameron. He was a 13-year-old kid with autism, and so he was having like an autism like episode, and his mother called the cops, and the cops just like gunned him down. It's like he's 13 years old, he's fucking unarmed. Why do you shoot a fucking unarmed 13-year-old? Why?
Well, how about the kid playing in the park with the toy gun?
Yeah.
This one, he was 10, 11 years old, maybe 13 at the most, black kid.
That was Tamir Rice. He was on 12.
The car isn't even dead stopped. It's still rocking from them throwing it in park, and they're shooting the guy.
Yeah, I remember that. That was ridiculous. And I remember people out there, they were justifying it, saying, well, had he just stopped, that wouldn't happen. He's a fucking 12-year-old, you piece of shits.
And he's in a park, right? Been there all day. People called the cops on him 3 or 4 times about what he'd done. He was waving around a fake toy gun, right? Why didn't the pigs roll up and fucking call him out with their fucking little speaker thing from across the fucking way? Why did they roll up on him real fast and just shoot him dead? Dude,
Well, the thing about it is that they don't think that way. And that's really unfortunate. But hey, man, that is all the time that we have. I want to thank you for actually calling in. Please call back in on tomorrow. Please reach out to me about that about your issue. I want to help. Please do so. Twitter. I'm gonna leave a link to my freaking Twitter and everything else down below. Please DM me. Let me know.
I got a YouTube page. I got a YouTube page too. I'll put my my YouTube page address on there.
Cool, awesome. I have no problem with promoting you. All right, man. But anyways,
I know it.
Thank you so much, man. I do appreciate it. It's very, very nice to hear that there are people out there who are reasonable. All right. We had another caller in. He's a very, very nice guy. Hopefully he reaches out to me. But anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for listening. This has been great for Pitchfork podcast. That's all the show that we're gonna be covering on today. Shows ran over for about a good 2 hours. And guys, I'm gonna run the show every day. I'm gonna run it longer or shorter depending on what you guys give me. But with that being said, guys, I want to let you all know that the number to call in on next time is 253-203-6784. Again, the number is gonna be 253-203-6784. This is Devil's Advocate, aka Dion McNeil. Oh, actually, there's another call in right now. Let's go ahead and take the call. All right, 707. All right, 707. This is Dion McNeil with the Pitchfork podcast. How you doing?
Hey, this is Dan. Talk to you, man. I just hung up on you on accident.
Right.
I just wanted to let you know that it was an accident.
Oh no, it's good.
Have a good one.
You too, man.
Have a good one. We'll shoot it again.
And be safe, man. All right.
You too.
All right, man. Peace. All right, that was my buddy from 707 again. Anyways, guys, this has been Devil's Advocate with the Pitchfork podcast. Horns up, peace out, be safe, don't get COVID, please wear a mask. And that's all from me. Wow. Actually, there's someone called in. All right, so I thought I was going to end the show, but someone's calling in. All right. 815, you're on the line. You know me.
I actually textured your first 3D avatar.
Really. So who I can't remember you per se by name. Can you just refresh my memory?
Yeah, my name was Martius Felius.
Oh yes, I know who you are. Yeah, Martius Felius. What's going on, man? I used to watch all of your videos, man. You do pretty good jobs with Blender. I've rarely met people who are as good as you are with like Blender. I must say.
Yeah, I actually ended up doing a little bit of time, so I got off of YouTube. So
yeah, I've heard. We're not gonna get into that because that's your personal business. But I'm guessing you have an issue with something that I said, or you just want to make like a statement.
Oh, I just I had gotten a hold of the number for this podcast and just wanted to, call and.
I actually want to say, man, it's good to see you back.
I'm not back. I just handful of people made the effort to ask some questions about my specific trouble with the law, and a whole bunch of people didn't. So I figured I'd give you the benefit of the doubt, as it were. So.
Right. So what exactly did? So you're not in any more trouble, or are you good, or are you in the clear, or what?
Well, all right. This is hard for me to explain because of the nature that the specific charge was, but nobody ever asked any questions. They kind of just reacted to the news articles and what a very spiteful ex-girlfriend was saying. So nobody asked the question as to why I got less than the minimum sentence. Nobody asked questions about the specific environment in which I was arrested in. I mean, it was end of 2017, early 2018, right when Me Too was in full force. And anybody with if you got drunk at a bar and ass and like pulled your dick out just as a joke, you were going to get the hammer because it was, peak Me Too, as it were. So nobody decided to ask any of these questions, and as soon as I got out, I started looking around. Skeptics, my ass.
Right. Because the skeptic community, they basically what that community devolved into was everything that they accused everybody else of. You saw some of the biggest simps, some of the biggest like racists, some of the biggest, basically while you were gone, the alt-right almost took over. You know that, right?
Yeah, I saw Andy Worski, who actually gave me my first big break. I mean, I'm going to try and not drop a lot of names because I don't want people connected with me. But he's essentially gone, and he did wash his hands of me, so it's clear that he has nothing to do with me. But I saw Andy Worski got hardcore into the race realism thing.
Yeah. It wasn't just him. It was also Aiden Paladin. It was Sticks Hexenhammer. It was a lot of people, and basically what they did when me and Kraut we had discovered that they had like basically the alt-right and Aiden Paladin and Sticks Hexenhammer, the Hard Bastard, a lot of these people, freaking Andy Worski, Bearing, Undoomed, a lot of these people, they had farms, whereas their fans, and it wasn't necessarily them in every case, but in the case of like Sticks and Aiden, it was definitely them. They fucking knew. But their whole farms, whereas they do like view bots. So half of the views that you see on these fucking videos, these people aren't like actually getting. The second thing is that whenever you talk smack about them, they will send these basically these fucking downvote bots, and they will massively downvote any video or massively upvote any fucking video, because otherwise, how do you explain someone like Brandon Tatum coming out and saying something like, if you didn't know George Floyd personally, why are you getting fucking mad, when the vast majority of people in the country don't like people like Brandon fucking Tatum? This man's getting millions of fucking views and shit.
Yeah, I there were a lot of names you said in that sentence that I was unfamiliar with, but it absolutely, I mean, YouTube drama and YouTube wars, open quote, I hate to use the fights, but these things were going on as I was in the world, so to speak. So, yeah, I mean, none of that surprises me. I mean, if you can weaponize upvotes or downvotes, of course there are going to be fucking asshats doing it.
Well, the thing about it is, I'm very, very curious as to what you think about the current landscape now that you've kind of came back and taken like a hard look around.
Oh, it was absolute culture shock. Absolute culture shock. I mean, just the entire. It's first of all, everybody I thought that had some scruples, some integrity, they're all gone. I mean, they practically dropped off the face of the earth. Again, I'm not going to drop any names because I don't want people connected with me, but just gone. And what seems to be left is people on individual crusades, whether it be things like Brexit, things like race realism, I mean, just countless individual crusades, one video after another, of just people just hounding these things, and I guess I think back to the glory days of people finding a topic and discussing said topic rather than them being laser focused on conquering issue X or issue Y, and that the idea of skepticism has completely gone out the window. It's just, I think this, and let's destroy everything that's not this.
Right. I know I've kind of fallen into that category a little bit when it comes to like cops, because I've been pretty much I've transformed into cop hater prime. I've transformed into that. I know that I have. And you don't have to tell me. I know that I have. But the reason why is mainly because of things that have happened that you might not have seen. I'll give you a prime example.
I had CNN in the joint, so.
Yeah, the people like Tim Pool, right? There was a shooting of this guy named Ahmaud Arbery, right, in Georgia. And coming to find out, the people who shot him did not like black people, because they actually went on social media and found that they didn't like black people. So Tim Pool, the whole time, he still will not retract this one video that he put out saying that, oh, he wasn't shot because he was black. But even though the Georgia Bureau of fucking Investigations have said, yeah, he was shot because he was black. And he still won't take it back. And so he's still saying that Ahmaud Arbery, deserved to be fucking gunned down. It's like, dude, the Georgia Bureau of fucking Investigations, they're prosecuting these men right now, and the fucking bond was goddamn denied. They had a $2 million bond that was denied. When a $2 million bond is fucking denied, and they find racist text, and you kill someone for no reason, you're going down, buddy. The fucking FBI has got them involved. The FBI is not gonna just get involved if you're not gonna fucking actually go down. No. No. Go ahead.
I don't have access to a lot of the resources I used to have access to, mainly because of income. But back in the day, what I would do is I would just scour every single bit of data I could find on said subjects. Me being rather limited, I can't offer my side of this. I do know that there have been instances where things have been blown out of proportion, but I also know where there have been instances where people were absolutely right. This guy was gunned down because he was black or Latino or et cetera. I cannot. I don't want to throw my hat into this because I am not as informed as I should be. Right. But I'm just going to go ahead and say you're probably right. If their hometown boys, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, are following through, then it seems like it would be a legit cause.
Right, but that's the whole thing, is that some people have made it all about like race now, and I understand why that is happening, but the issue now isn't so much the cops, right? It's the people versus the goddamn government. The government's only giving people so far $1,200 to freaking survive off of. Meanwhile, you have cops who are locking up mothers in freaking Idaho because they violated a lockdown order, whereas this mother wanted to bring her children to a fucking playground, and they actually locked her up, like crazy shit like that. Whereas people would automatically say, well, see, it's not the cop, it's the goddamn law. So I said, so suppose for a second the law says rape every fucking woman. Do you now do that shit, or do you use some degree of fucking common sense and say, okay, I'm not gonna arrest a goddamn mother just for bringing her kids to a fucking playground. I'm just not gonna do that.
I've never bought I've never bought into the Nuremberg defense. I'm just following orders. No, bullshit. I don't care if someone tells me to shovel these people into a furnace. You're going to have to put a bullet in my head, and I'll die happy knowing I didn't shovel people into furnaces.
Right,
so,
right.
yeah, that Nuremberg defense never fucking flies.
Right. So because I remember when people were pretty much saying, well, you're only jumping the cops because you're freaking black. I'm like, well, that mother was white, and her kids are white too.
Yeah.
So
well,
I mean,
that usually happens when the mother's white.
Right. But the thing is though is that it's not so much what the cops are doing. It's that the government has been pretty much neglecting and abusing people, and the cops have been basically assisting them, and that is completely unacceptable right now. People are losing their jobs. They're losing their businesses, man. Like you can't be heavy-handed and at the same time have a fucking economy that's like struggling. You just can't do that.
No, you absolutely need a to put it in financial terms, you definitely need a diversified portfolio when it comes to economic issues, and you can't. The Great Depression was a perfect example of this. You can't constrict your people and your economy and expect it to grow. Work. And I 100% agree with you there. There is way too much overregulation in terms of not only just economics, but like you were saying, the movement of people, the personal freedoms of people. A significant amount of restrictions on there, and it is not going to in any way, shape, or form help us.
So, but anyways, man, hey, I have to actually wrap this show up. But on tomorrow, do you mind if you call in on tomorrow? I would love to interview you, man. I would love to actually get your side of the fucking story. Because again, I've heard so much about you, but I've never heard your side of the fucking story.
Yeah, nobody has. They heard the charge, and immediately everybody jumped on the "let's all hate Marty" bandwagon, and that's fine, I guess. But when people are calling themselves skeptics and they're not asking any questions, that upset me more than anything. I just
right. Like that's I actually had people coming to me saying, I remember now, people were actually coming to me asking me to like make like videos and shit. I decided against that because I was like, okay, I know how cops are. I know how damn courts are. I want to hear his side of the story first because again, notice that I only make videos when there's some pretty fucking substantial evidence. But there was no real evidence that I was actually presented with in like your case. The only thing that I was being told is like claims. It's like, okay, I don't know if this shit is true or not. I don't know.
All right. Well, I would be more than happy to come in and call in and give my side of the story. You're East Coast, right?
No, I'm on the West Coast. So the show runs at 1 p.m. Pacific, but it's gonna be 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by that time. But I could actually run it a little bit earlier if you need. Just reach out to me, okay? Definitely.
No, your normal time will be fine.
Okay.
I will call you at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Awesome.
Around 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Awesome. Hey, man, I would love to have you on because I want to get your side of the story. Also, I want your perspective because you're a very, very smart guy. People did not give you credit for that.
I'm a man of average intelligence who just asks a lot of questions. People may think I'm smart. I try and squash that rumor as quick as possible. It's just that I ask a lot of questions. That's the key difference between an average man and an average man who looks smart and an average man who looks stupid. I just ask a lot of questions.
Well, I want to thank you, man. Anyways, man, I'm gonna go ahead and roll out, man. Take care of yourself and make sure you reach out to me on tomorrow. Okay?
I absolutely will, man. You have yourself a good one.
Okay. Be safe.
Yep.
Peace. All right, guys. That's gonna be it for the Pitchfork podcast. Thank you for joining me. All right, guys. It's gonna be tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyways, guys, it's been Devil's Advocate. Horns up. Peace out.